This is the Aftermarket Radio Network.
Welcome to another episode of Speak Up Effective Communication, the show on the Aftermarket Radio Network, focusing our attention on our communication and leadership skills. And I want to discuss part 2 now of this conversation. Our episode is titled Unplug, Immerse, Reboot. And in our last episode, we talked about unplugging. That is not just about a break from social media or disconnecting from our devices, but truly getting out of our normal environments. And then this episode today, we're talking about the immerse and reboot, the immerse into whatever environment we're going into other than the one that we're escaping from. Now, as our listeners well understand, we do talk a lot about going outside our comfort zones on this podcast. And while we are not talking about jumping into a communication arena in this one, we are focusing on our communication skills because we need you at your absolute best. So while the topic is about stepping away, it has a purpose when we reboot and we return better for those that we are meeting with. Now, every episode we do a word of the day, and today's word is trepidation. And we will define that word for you after we hear a word from our sponsors who make this show possible. Looking to take your shop to the next level of quality service, team culture, and overall profitability? At the Institute, we provide personalized coaching that aligns with your goals of financial stability, excellent customer service, and employee satisfaction. Our priority is helping you establish significant and sustainable progress. We work with you to create strategies that reduce the stress of running your business, improve your quality and performance, and optimize your profitability. Experience the benefits of professional coaching by visiting wearetheinstitute.com/business-assessment. Hey friends, as you know, I'm a proud member of the AutoFlow team, and let me tell you, we've changed how business is done for auto shops everywhere. We support your client experience before, during, and after the work is done. Imagine this. Timely updates sent directly to your clients, branded digital vehicle inspections, and seamless communication from start to finish. That's why shops love AutoFlow. And hey, with those 5-star reviews rolling in, you'll wonder how you ever managed without us. Take an important next step and take your auto shop to the next level. Visit www.autoflow.com. Get on board with an AutoFlow trial. Are you ready to meet your perfect auto repair shop management software partner? Well, say farewell to the days of transactional relationships and hello to a true partnership that elevates your business. The #1 all-in-one solution is AutoLeap. You're not just getting software, you're gaining a dedicated ally committed to your success. AutoLeap will help you sell more, save time, and delight your customers at every turn. From scheduling appointments to creating estimates, generating invoices, managing technicians, and seamlessly syncing with QuickBooks to keep your records updated, experience the difference a true partnership makes. Visit AutoLeap.com and book a demo today. AutoLeap, your trusted partner for success. Want to see your auto repair shop thrive? Are you looking to drive more customers to your auto repair shop? Let ShopDog Marketing be your guide. Our customer-first approach, combined with AI-driven creative content, ensures top rankings. Dominate mobile-first and voice search with our specialized expertise. Reach out to ShopDog Marketing today and start growing your business. Don't miss out on this chance to boost your business. Visit shopdogmarketing.com. Inbound has exclusively served independent auto repair shops with expert communication solutions for years. Our robust VoIP platform ensures you stay connected while our industry-leading AI analytics take your business to the next level. We provide the tools you need to understand your customers and optimize every interaction. Choose Inbound for proven expertise and unmatched innovation. Visit callinbound.com and discover the difference we can make. We are back, and our word of the day today is trepidation. It is a noun, and it is the emotion experienced in the presence of threat or danger. I'll use it in a sentence. My wife and I approached the cold lake with some trepidation. And I'll tell you, folks, that lake is cold. That is not a made up sentence. And that is exactly what we were feeling when we were at our campsite. So now we mentioned that we were camping out on Sleeping Bear's South Manitou Island. It is a great island for those of us like me and my wife. We're not very experienced campers or backpackers. I do a lot of rucking, as I mentioned in the previous episode and many other episodes. And pretty much every time I talk with people in the world today, I enjoy rucking. But rucking I have learned to describe as urban hiking with useless weight. We were hiking in with all the things that we need to have a successful camping trip on South Manitou Island. And while it is an easier island to approach for as far as remote camping goes, they have designated campsites. There's a ranger station. There's even potable water and bathrooms near the ranger station if you absolutely need to. Now, it'd be a bit of a hike back from your campsite, so that's not going to be the typical experience. This is a full camping experience type of a place with a few things that if you do have an emergency or you need shelter, the ranger station's there and there's some help not too far away. And there's a cool lighthouse on this island too, we found. That's kind of neat. But we were going to experience nature, and nature's what we experienced. Now, on this goal, we talked about 3 goals that we had in the previous episode. One goal was to disconnect, the other is to immerse in nature, and reboot is the 3rd goal. And this is all based on a lot of the reading that I've been doing over the last few years, and I was seeking what is termed as the 3-day effect. The 3-day effect. Michael Easter talked about this in his book, The Comfort Crisis. There's other authors who have hit this. Basically, the coin was termed, as I understand it, by a man who recognized that on rafting trips, it was by day 3 when he noticed a change in people's behavior and how they finally were more relaxed and present in those environments, and the work stuff fades away and you're actually just there. And that's what's so necessary for this reboot. And that's what I craved. Now, I will say this again, goal number 1 was very important to achieve goal number 2 of this immersion in nature, goal 1 being that unplug element. I feel that devices in general can distract us from these environments, but it isn't just about the devices or social media in general. We are talking about disconnecting really from others in this case. Now, when my wife and I are out together, we have a great time. That isn't work. For us, while we put work into our relationship on a regular basis, this is a form of that. It's not like we need a break from each other. This is us taking a break together, and I really value that in our relationship, that we can do this sort of thing. So we did our research, South Manitou being the more accessible spot, and since North Manitou's closed, that's where we went. So I mentioned the potable water in the bathrooms. That sounds like not roughing it to a lot of you real campers out there, I'm sure. But the big exception is that there's no food available for us on the island. There are a few residents there who probably in an emergency would share, I'm sure. But no, we had to pack in our food. We had a bear can. The joke on the South Manitou Island, while it is the Sleeping Bear Dunes, there isn't even a bear asleep on this island. The only things that we have on that island are what are affectionately termed micro bears, which is relating to chipmunks, which I will say are unusually large for chipmunks that you experience on an island, but they will tear into any food you have, and everyone is warned. So we hiked in with a bear can. We want to do some trails someday in bear country, so we were practicing with that as it is. And this can, I thought, was full with too much food. I thought we had enough to stay a week. We barely had enough, as we found out into the final and 3rd day. But what were we doing there? This island is really cool. It has a lot of trails. There's some history on the island. It used to be inhabited. Now it is not, except for rangers. We hiked, and the first campground, we were fortunately like the second people to get to pick our campgrounds of the group that came in. Just about, I can't remember. It must have been around about a 9 or 12 maybe total campers were on this island at this time. So 10-mile circumference on an island. Not a lot of other people around. It was really an interesting experience with that. But we hiked to the Bay Area campground of the island, and we picked a great site. Folks, this was right where the forest meets the beach on this pristine part of the lake, and it was also adjacent to a usable fire pit. We wanted to be able to have a campfire at this campsite, and that's one of the sites that allowed it. The temperatures on this trip, they were cool. This is northern Michigan. It's early June, and early June, late May, gosh, guys, we've had some really cold snaps there, and we kind of were in one still. It was in the low 60s and 50s overnight. Not super cold, especially by our standards. I know some of my southern friends would be shivering just thinking about that. And of course, the water temp as well. If it was 50, it was barely 50. Low, mid 50s is all I would give that water. So we went to work. We immersed ourselves fully into this trip. We had all the gear selection stuff. We had spent a lot of time preparing this and packing well and doing our research and due diligence. We had practiced setting up the tent before, so we were good in case it was raining or windy or you name it. But camp setup went great. Our food container was tight, and our first day of exploration was inspiring. We had well over 10 miles of hiking. The views were a bit limited because there was some haze produced from the Canadian wildfires. The wind patterns have brought some of the smoke there, but the air quality was good. It was hazy, but not that smoky, acrid scent in the air. So we were pleased. We were just marveling at some of the views. I have the painting behind me of one painting from my wife from years ago on the mainland. We have gone on the dune environments many times, and we can see these islands perfectly well, at least on a clear day, from the mainland, but we've never been on it. And seeing it, all the views that it had to offer from where we were standing on that island, there's just things that you don't see and cannot access easily from the mainland. And that makes it just automatically very, very, very special. Now, very special and awesome views come at the cost of mosquitoes, black flies, and waist-high poison ivy. I will tell you, some of the best views were through a trail where your arms are up, and that poison ivy is abnormally well grown there. I don't know if someone needs to take some goats to that island or what, but this is kind of the thing that we were still expecting. Once you're in an environment like that, this is why I feel immersion in nature is so important. It's like the challenges that you face in the rest of the world on your day-to-day stuff, some of them are very intangible. Sometimes it's just dealing with clients and customer service or just other people in general. That's a different sort of stress that comes in. In nature, there are stresses that you impact can be rather imposing. Fortunately, we didn't have severe cold or starvation or a lack of water on an island surrounded in a freshwater lake. Even if I didn't have filters, which I did, I would probably safely drink from that water. The risks weren't huge. But when you are running from mosquitoes or trying not to have poison ivy, which my wife would have an allergic reaction to if she did have that, there was a couple scary moments. But we got through that, and it feels good. It just feels good to overcome even those simple natural challenges. It just feels good. And it's a normal thing. It's a tangible thing. And it's something that as human beings, we've been around these sort of environments all the time. We're well equipped to go through and manage these things. And I think that's part of why it just naturally feels really good. But rather funny, I think this is, for me, one of the most interesting parts of our camp trip. It's hard to find dead and down firewood for a campfire when you're in especially a national park where you will not be chopping down trees. There's not firewood for purchase. You don't have a chainsaw. I didn't have an axe or a hatchet or anything with me on this trip to find the larger pieces. Burning larger pieces doesn't burn very good. And the little stuff burns up quickly. If you're trying to have a campfire for warmth or for a purpose, it's a challenge. Those of you who have more experience than I do camping are probably much more well aware of this. I only had a Leatherman with a saw, which, by the way, worked really, really good. The Leatherman, what is it? The Signal? Oh my gosh, the wood saw on that thing, some of the thicker branches we were finding, cut through like butter. That was amazing for a hand tool. Now, again, I will say this, we did not need a fire, but we had carried a small camp stove with us, had fuel, and that's how we did several of our meals. We did make too many meals that required heated water, so we learned some things on that as well. The reason we wanted the fire, though, was that aforementioned very cold lake. We wanted to swim in it. Now, is that a smart thing to do if you're in a cooler environment on a very cold lake and you don't have a means to warm yourself up? We weren't too worried about like our actual lives, but we did want to have a nice fire to warm up by after we go swimming in the lake. And since firewood is so hard to come by, at day one, we pretty much gave up on that. I just didn't have the nerve to go in the freezing cold lake. There's some reasons I don't like the cold, or I should say the cold doesn't like me. But day one, we did not swim. Day two, it was cloudy and cooler and a little bit breezier. Not as much haze, so good views. We put less pressure on ourselves for camping on the island. We easily hiked 10 miles the first day, 8 miles the second day. But the cool thing is we went the different direction on our hike on the island, and we had made note on our way out. It's like, oh, there's good firewood. Oh, there's good firewood. Our minds were now totally into that zone. Like it was part of the fun was thinking, there's something useful there. There's something useful there. There's some great stuff written on this. Michael Easter in his follow-up book that he did after the comfort crisis called Scarcity Brain. He talks about this. Our minds get in this scarcity loop very easily. And that's why like social media and other things, they all tap into this natural human tendency. If there's an opportunity, unexpected rewards, and quick repeatability, then our minds love that sort of thing. And hey, there's opportunity to find firewood. And as we hike, okay, cool. Unexpected. Are we going to find some right here? Fun. And we can keep repeating this everywhere we go. So the scarcity loop in full effect there. And I was able to observe that thanks to the reading. And it was just interesting to find myself in that zone where that's what was occupying my thoughts and not much else, just enjoying the views and everything else there. Once I realized that, hey, my mind's not tracking on other things than this simple old as time human behavior of going around looking for firewood was what was occupying my mind. That was really rewarding. It just felt really good. Simple things feel really good when you are immersing yourself in nature. And that's really the point of it, is what I've started to observe. Now, the reward in this case was mostly manifest that when we gathered all this wood, we're walking back with armloads of logs and wood. The temperatures in the lake, as I mentioned, it's pretty much low, mid 50s. I really couldn't tell you. It feels like ice water. As soon as you put your toe in, it says, no, get out. That's what the water temperature feels. With the air temperature barely in the 60s, yeah, you're probably not going to warm up quick is the thing. But we went in anyways. We went in the lake. And I will be clear, we did not stay in the lake long, but we did go into the lake. We walked back to the campsite after thinking we'd be freezing cold and have a real hard time doing this. But that is not the effect that we had. And those of you who swim on cooler days, you probably are very aware of this. We don't do a ton of swimming there. Just don't have time to go to the pool around here. But you know the effect. You get in the water and you feel a little warmer. You get back in the air and you feel colder. That's what we expected. But what happened is we just didn't feel cold after that dip. We had been hiking. Our body temperatures were up from that. But we just felt really refreshed. And this is literal cold plunge territory, cold water naturally in the lake. So those of you that are into cold plunges, Kim Walker, looking at you, you definitely would enjoy this place. And pick a site with a campfire maybe. But we dried off. We felt really good. The cold air that was kind of cold all day didn't feel cold anymore. So the comfort level that we had with the environment that we had already been in by going into a less comfortable environment was more comfortable. This is exactly the type of thing that I was hoping for and expected to find on this trip. And it's exactly what we found. And it's really, that's a cool thing and very addicting. I'm already thinking about the next camp trip and how much fun it's going to be in the different environments we can go to as a result of this. Newer experience for me though. Now, to keep long story short, I'm just going to say we had a great fire that night. We did note that our food would run out if weather became rough overnight. I didn't mention this earlier, but the ferry service and the ranger also reminded us on our arrival that on our last day, we cannot stay till 4 p.m. like most of the camp trips do. We have to be ready to leave at 11, be at the dock by 11. With easterly currents on the lake, that will cause the boat to bang up against the dock, and they don't like sitting there letting their boat get banged up on the dock. So when the current is the way it was expected with the cool wind and the rain, we need to be ready to go as soon as they were done unloading. The concern was like they don't sail if the wind gets bad, and it was kind of windy. Not looking at the weather on the phones, not knowing what the wind speeds were, being more disconnected on purpose. The concern was, what if the ferry doesn't come at all the following day? We're on an island. We're not swimming ashore. It is a very long distance. It would be very cold. You would die. But that sense, that feeling of concern over something like the boat coming to take us back was actually, now looking back, part of our fun. And it was just a good part of the memory. The boat did make it, spoiler alert there, but it was a really cold, damp morning. All that night, it had drizzled, it had rained, the wind was whipping on the tent a bit more. Not great sleep, but not bad either, I will say. After a very full, tiring day, we were good. It was interesting. It was fun. We'd made it back. We did take the boat back, of course, and back on the land. We had another nice night. We stayed at a hotel, an older one, not a nice plush one, just four walls and a bed type of a hotel, but we did get a really great meal and it felt really good to get back into a restaurant environment, enjoy a wonderful meal, connect with the kids and make sure everything's going good in our world. I will say this, reconnecting and looking even at the news on the weekend that we got back, there was all the protests versus parades. There was a lot of war stuff happening. Not a great news thing. Already needed a break from that very quick after re-immersing, but what we did feel is just nothing but happiness out of it. And the reboot was very real. Coming back into our normal weeks and our activities that we have to engage in, this was much easier. A lot of vacations that we take are not like this or aimed this way. Right? A lot of times we take vacations that can feel almost like work. Sometimes you take a vacation where work feels like it's coming back to work is welcome. This was a vacation aimed at just rebooting our minds so that when we do come back to work, we feel good about it and just refreshed. And it does. It works. I think that 3-day effect stuff is very real. I already want to take longer trips on that because if the 3-day effect is good, I'm pretty sure a 4 or 5, 6, 7-day effect is even better for this type of trip. We'll find out. That's the path that I'm on. But I really wanted to make sure that we're encouraging that in this environment, on this show. It's a bit of where my heart and passions lie right now are in this area, getting into nature. I would love to hear from you. If you reach out to me at speakup@CraigO'Neill.net, have this harebrained notion that this would be a really fun thing to do with a small group of friends or industry colleagues, not to talk about work, but the people that we like and we enjoy working with, getting out and just going into nature. It'd be a fun thing to do together instead of some of our normal trade show and networking experiences. So if that sort of thing is interesting to you and you have kind of a heart for this stuff, or maybe are a great guide in some other parts of the world that you know and would love to share with some other people, that's exactly the kind of thing I'm angling towards at this time. So please reach out to me. Speak up at CraigO'Neill.net. And folks, I hope this has been an interesting topic for you. I hope it gets you a couple of ideas. I hope you pick up the book, The Comfort Crisis by Michael Eastern. If you've already read that one, pick up his other book on the scarcity brain. That is another fantastic read. It'll help make you more aware of the things that are driving our behaviors in this world, the things that technology companies are very aware of and will use. It'll help insulate you from some of the challenges that we do face. So please do that. And please remember to check out the other shows here on the Aftermarket Radio Network. We have Carm Capriato's Remarkable Results Radio. We have Diagnosing the Aftermarket A through Z with Matt Fonslow. We also have Business by the Numbers with Hunt Demarest. I'm sure he would love a camp trip. I know he does after tax season. Auto Repair Marketing Podcast, Brian and Kim Walker. I think you guys are just the type of people who would love it up here in Northern Michigan. I know you made it to Michigan. I know you didn't make it this far up. So hopefully you do. And Coach Chris Cotton, I know you and your wife enjoy trips too. So hopefully you can get up here too. I look forward to seeing some of these folks at some trade shows as we near the fall, but hoping everyone's enjoying their summer break in the meantime and a little bit of a break from travel for work. More getting out and immersing yourself in nature. Please do so. And don't forget to listen up, speak up, camp it up a little bit, folks. We'll be here when you get back.
You've been listening to Speak Up, Effective Communication with Craig O'Neill on the Aftermarket Radio Network. Follow Craig on your favorite podcast listening app and on his YouTube channel. Let him know what you'd like him to speak up about. Craig is all for advancing the automotive service aftermarket.